All right, guys, welcome to Team Empowered Elites team call for September 9th. We have an awesome guest speaker tonight, but before we get started, I just want to go over some recognition. So do we have any new emeralds on the team tonight? Or from this past week, I should say.
Kelly.
Sorry. What did you say, Heather?
Oh, I say Kelly hit last week, but we didn't know during the call.
Congratulations, Kelly. I don't think she's on, but congratulations.
Oh.
And that means that Heather is a diamond this week, which is incredible because Heather has been pushing for this goal for a long time now, and she is so deserving of it, and I'm so proud of you.
All right, well, now we're on to 1 star because we ain't stopping now.
Alrighty. So tonight, guys, we have Erin Conlon, who is a 2014 elite coach. She is an incredible leader. She has an amazing team, and I absolutely just love her energy and the creative ideas that she has. They're so outside the box. And I just have to share that last year when I was struggling at some point, I wrote something in one of our leadership pages, and Erin had said something along the lines of, "You might be the juiciest, ripest peach, and not everybody likes peaches," which made me just fall in love with Erin. So I will let Erin introduce herself, and then we're just going to kind of do a Q&A for some questions for her to answer of how she does things in her business. So take it away, Erin.
You're so funny because that when you wrote, I think it was actually about like somebody giving you a hard time about the business. And that's what I struggle with. I'm so sensitive like that. I never want people judging me in a bad way. I never want to like look insincere or whatever. So when you had posted that, my heart broke for you because I'm like, oh, I know that feeling. And my favorite thing in the world is that thing about peaches. I mean, I love peaches, especially like a juicy, ripe, yummy peach. And it's like, how the heck do you not like peaches? But then you have to remember, even if it is the greatest peach, there's still going to be somebody who's like, ugh, gross. And honestly, you can't win them all, and it's just hard. But I love that you even remember that because it honestly was like a year ago. So I love you so much. Thank you for caring enough. It's so funny. So thank you guys for coming on tonight. I'm psyched because I'm sure you knew I was coming, so you actually still came on. So I appreciate that. And Heather, congratulations. Diamond is so cool. It's so exciting. Like best milestone ever. So a little bit about my story. I am a mom of 2, first and foremost. My daughter is 16. Kind of a nightmare. It's actually getting better. She's a junior in high school, so she's great. And then my son is 6, and he is fun and busy. He just started 1st grade. So little bit about my back story. I got pregnant when I was 17. I was in high school, and from the day that I found out I was pregnant, my senior year of high school, I decided that I probably wasn't going to have a career, that my main focus in life was just going to be a mom. I wanted to be the best mom, and that was all I really cared about. So I wanted to find a job that I could have a few hours at work, get paid just enough to get by and be a mom. And I was very young that my brain didn't even comprehend that I could have both. And I think growing older and like growing your brain is so cool because this opportunity is just, it's so cool. So I, like I said, had no drive for success. I had no interest in anything career-wise. And I didn't go to a day of college in my life. And I just never really pushed myself to be better. And I also had really low confidence, really low self-esteem. I thought everybody was judging me about being a young mom. And I was really, really hard on myself. So when I saw this, I actually saw this as a business opportunity. And it's different. I think a lot of people come in for the Shakeology, for the workouts, and I came in a different way. And the business opportunity was presented to me. And I was like, it'll be 2 years in October that I started. And I fell in love with the idea of it. I'm like, this is the coolest thing. Like, I could have my own business with my friends. We could run these groups and help other people like get healthier and happier and build confidence. And in turn, I had to focus on myself being better in order to help other people. Like, all around, I was like, holy moly, and I can make money. Like the whole thing didn't make sense to me. I was so psyched. And I came home and told my husband, and he was like, oh yeah, sorry, honey, absolutely no way you're not doing that, no chance. And I was like devastated, like, wait, what? No way. And he was like, you are the type of person, you're going to ask somebody to do this with you, they're going to say no, and you're going to burst out into tears like, this is not the right thing for you. Because what he saw it as sales. And he's like, this is a sales job. Erin, you are not a salesperson. And I started to second guess it. And I'm like, crap, I'm kind of not. But the passion that I had for what the business was and what it was going to do for other people and everything about it that I loved, I'm like, give me a little time. If you're picking me up off the floor crying all the time, I'll quit, but let's try. My first month, I think I asked about 200 people and everyone said no. Everybody's like, I'm good. Go take your little business thing and run with it. Have fun, but it's definitely not for me. And I was like, oh no, this is not my plan. This isn't how it's supposed to go. And I was crushed a little, but at that time, I had all these people saying no to me. So that's what fueled me. And I'm like, now I have to make this work. Because I have these people some people said to me, oh, when you're a millionaire, come back and tell me, I'll join you then. And I was like, really? Okay. Like I have to prove it now. So I kept going and I was asking everybody for the business opportunity, and my mom and my brother-in-law made me Emerald, honestly, because they felt bad for me. And I still love them to death because I was psyched that I was Emerald. Even though it was the two people who just wanted to help me out, I was an Emerald coach. And then my third month in, I took Coach Basics. And when I realized what I learned in Coach Basics, I realized I was asking everybody for the business opportunity. And I was like, I love this. I see this as my future. I think this is so great. I want you to do it with me because I think it's the best thing. And what I noticed and what I learned was that I wasn't listening to anybody. I didn't care what their dreams were or what they thought. I just wanted this because I thought it would be so fun. And so I changed my approach and I decided to start asking people questions. And it took me a while to realize what I was doing wrong. But once I did that, everything started changing. I started focusing more on nutrition, more on fitness, how I could help people. And I decided that I was going to basically like make friends with everybody. I was going to reach out to people, not ask them to do the business opportunity for me because clearly that wasn't working at the time. I was super brand new coach. And I decided to just get to know people and to put myself out there and say, hey, once I built a relationship with them, once I found out where this could fit into their life, then I would say, hey, you mentioned you were exhausted all the time. I love GoPro. I know how you feel because I totally felt the same way, but I want you to know, like, I tried Shakeology and it's crazy. So, and I would just say it with so much passion. And it was what they were interested in anyways, because they were exhausted and they didn't have to start the business. So I started signing all discount coaches. And then it started working for me. And a lot of my friends, it took a few months to sign them up. Two of my diamonds, I started asking October 2nd, the day I signed up. And one signed December 26th and the other signed like January 19th. So from October, November, December, January, I asked them every day. I'm like, you have to do this with me. And I just want you guys to know that when people say no, like that, it's honestly, they say that and you hear that like, a no is not a no. And I remember being like, okay, sure, a no is not a no. Yeah, they just said no. But if you keep building that relationship, eventually they sign on. Like 90% of the people that I talked to first told me no. And when I think about it, Dana, you're super awesome about your fitness and your nutrition. I'm not the best like that. So there are days where I want to eat Swedish fish for the rest of my life for every meal, and that's all I care about. And it's not something to be proud of, but I think about like if I was in that state of mind and somebody came to me and was like, oh, join my nutrition challenge group, I'd be like, yeah, thanks. Like that means I can't eat Swedish fish. Are you kidding me? So I wouldn't do it. But then there's days where I wake up and I'm like so done with Swedish fish. I'm like, I need to get back on track. And if they were still there in my life, then I would be like, you know what? I'm ready. But when you hear the word no and you just like move on and then the person never comes back to you, you're not there for them. So I decided to start like building friendships and learning about people. I learned so much because I was so focused on just making friendships. I would ask so many questions to people. I learned about what it's like to be an overnight nurse, or what it's like to have twins, or to like adopt pets. I never knew people did that. Like run marathons, all these different types of people that I was starting to interact with. And it was so cool because I was basically like building friendships, and who doesn't want more friends? It was really cool. And then I noticed that as my like relationship grew with them, they started joining me. And it's basically proved to me that this is all built with trust. And it's hard. I don't do scripts because they never worked for me. So I really do focus on building relationships. I think you asked me to share my story and I'm going all over the place, but that's kind of like what I learned right away in the beginning. So that's a little bit about my story. Once I changed and built and changed how I kind of looked at things started growing. I made Success Club 10 a non-negotiable, and I just kind of stuck with it, and I loved it, like every single second of it. It's been so, so fun. I don't know if you want to get into questions or you want me to ramble on, because I'm great at that.
We can do the questions. So we had number 1, how do you recruit active coaches?
Okay, so active coaches, like I said, I mostly do discount coaches because I find that most people are more interested in Shakeology right now, and that's what's worked for me, especially when I started out. Now I do talk about the business, but not until I know that that's something that they're interested in, not just because it's my idea. I also, like I said, I private message everybody, and I think that that's so important because I love the power of hello. If you guys have heard of that, it's really such a cool thing. We're on Facebook all the time. We're coaches. This is what we do. And you kind of forget that not everybody is. And not everybody is talking to, they don't have a team call. They don't have a Zoom with a bunch of friends. And their life might be talking to their kids all day, every day, and that's it. And they might have a husband who's an adult, and that might be literally, it's either baby talk or husband talk. And if you might have somebody who works like 70 hours a week at a corporate job and is exhausted and really doesn't get any acknowledgement or get noticed. So messaging somebody like that, you could literally change their entire day just by private messaging them saying like, hey, I was thinking of you because, or I saw your post and it made me laugh, or anything that's so random. Somebody might really just be like, oh, like, hey, thanks. And it might change like their whole day, and they could appreciate it so much. So I really focus on the power of hello. I've certainly had people who don't message me back, or maybe will message me in 3 months like, hey, I just got your message. And I'm like, no, but that's okay. I'm not insulted. And I just try to reach out to as many people as I can just to first build a relationship. I love the voice memo on the phone, if you guys use that or not, through the Facebook Messenger. I feel like that gives you so much, just like you could hear the passion in your voice. When you're typing something out, you can read it in a certain way. And I love using the voice memo to just basically share how I feel, what I feel. And I love reaching out to people. I think that a lot of people, when they're scrolling through Facebook, they tend to like compliment someone in their head, and they're like, oh, the picture's cool, or oh, they're so cute, or whatever. But they don't actually like put it in writing and send it to that person, because it's such a difference. You're complimenting people. I hope you're complimenting people, because it's what nice people do. Like, you think these things, but to like send it to them, it could really make their day. And then just like being genuinely interested in what they're doing. I love asking questions. Like I said, I love learning about people. And I really like to build relationships. When I get them signed up, that's when I tend to talk about the business. When I am telling them, I sign all my people as discount coaches, because I tell them that it's cheaper for them, because it is. And I tell them that, I said, Beachbody does it this way because I said a lot of companies have a contract. We don't have a contract. We have no fees if you don't sell anything. There's no quotas. You don't have to carry an inventory. Nothing like that. It's just cheaper for you to become a coach. I think that Beachbody does this that way because if you fall in love with the product and you start to share it with somebody, then you kind of start your own business without even realizing, just because you love it. So I always throw in that little, like, I don't know what it is, like trickery or something when they're signing, just to put it in their head. Because I find that a lot of people, who want to focus on their fitness and nutrition aren't really confident in themselves and don't believe in themselves. I mean, society is tough right now, and people, women especially, are really hard on themselves. So to say like, hey, you should start a business, a fitness business with me, I think that most of the people that I hung around with would say like, oh gosh, I'm nowhere near good enough to do that. So I kind of like just throw that in there, like the little trick in their head so that they know it's an option. And then when they get signed up, then I talk more about the business with them. I do a getting started right call for every single challenger. I say, when you get your stuff, let's schedule a phone call, even a 5-minute phone call. Because by saying 5 minutes is so much less scary, because if you say like, oh, well, I'll set up a half-hour phone call, they're like, I know how you talk. Like, I'm not going to listen to you for half hour. So saying, 5 minutes, if they want the call to go longer, absolutely. But it's just like less scary. And then you can say like, you got your stuff. I want to talk to you about recipes. I want to go over any questions, whatever. And I feel like it helps me get to know them too. So I also have Coach Basics, and I invite everybody to the coaching opportunity, because I feel like this is a lottery ticket. I feel like who knows who's going to run this business, and nobody really understands it. We understand it, but people who don't do this, I don't think they get it. I think that they think, and I know that a lot of people think this is direct sales, and they're like, think that we are all like, hi, buy my Shakeology, or like going door to door or something. And it's very hard to understand and to explain. So I feel like I offer, hey, we have a free Coach Basics training. That might sound crazy, but guess what? It's free. And it would be really cool, since you love Shakeology anyways, like, why not try the little training? It's this many hours or whatever you guys do. And if you like it, who knows, you might get a friend or two and literally change their life. It's so cool when you help somebody and they feel so much better. So you should totally try it. And I try to like personalize why they should try the training program. Hopefully they take the Coach Basics. And I try to tell my coaches too, like, really, I know that a lot of my coaches are like, oh yeah, no, they're not interested. I know they wouldn't do the business. That is so untrue. And it's actually really mean, because who are you to decide that they don't want to do the business? Like, no offense, but you certainly can't predict the future, and you're not in their head. So I give everybody the same opportunity. I don't care if you're 75. I don't care if you're 18. I don't care if you're 500 pounds or 90 pounds. Like, whatever it is, that's their choice to make. And this is a lottery ticket for them to decide. If they want to scratch the ticket off, like, that's their ticket. You gave it to them. You just have to explain to them what the ticket is and kind of like push them to do it. So I think that's like my basics of how I do it. I'm not the best poster, but I don't need to talk about Facebook posting, because you guys have the master at Facebook posting right there, because she's like incredible. Dana, your posts, like my team talks about your posts. You're so engaging. Every post that you do, I think, is just so fabulous. I don't know how you do it. I try to, when I post, I try to remember, be fun, funny, or fun to look at. That's like my thing I say in my head. Like, if this isn't fun, funny, or fun to look at, or like valuable, offering valuable advice, then I don't post it. And I look at Dana's posts, and every single post that she does is posted with a purpose. So if you guys are struggling on posting on Facebook, just do what she does, because it's so awesome. So I'm not the best at posting on Facebook. Like I said, I ran my whole business pretty much recruiting through private message, but posting with a purpose and following what Dana does is just so awesome. Yeah, you guys are so lucky to have Dana.
I totally agree with you that it's all about building relationships. That has been absolutely huge for me. And I literally have so many conversations going all the time that are just totally random about absolutely anything and everything. And that definitely helps in the long run. Just acting like everybody's your best friend, basically, that you
right.
can see what's going on in people's lives. And I love that you invite everybody to a Coach Basics. I've never thought about doing that, but I have a ton of challengers that I know would make good coaches. And when I ask them about it, they just are kind of like, I don't think I have time for that. And I don't really know. And it's kind of hard to be like, well, just do it.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, my sister, like I said, my brother-in-law made me an Emerald coach, and that was because I didn't ask my sister, because she had a 1-year-old, she was pregnant, she was teaching her first year of 2nd grade, and she was in school. So I was like, I'm not going to ask her. I signed my brother-in-law, and 2 months later, my sister's like, why would you never ask me? And she was hurt by it. I'm like, what? Like, you're so busy. And she was like, thanks. Like, I just thought you didn't, because here I am, I'm building the team with my friends, and we're having so much fun. And she's like, I would have loved to do it. And that like opened my mind so much. Like, who am I to decide that she's too busy? She's a 1-star diamond now. Like, thank God that she decided to say, you didn't ask me. So think of that too. Because yeah, people are definitely busy, but sometimes I think that the people who are the busiest are the best. Because when you think about it, people who have a lot going on, they take on a lot, and they kind of want to be the best. They want to like be doing stuff. And the people who more so don't have much going on in their life maybe aren't and like the go-getters. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's so true, because when you don't have a ton of time, you have to be really focused when you're actually working it.
Right.
And what you were saying about posting, I can tell you that it's probably funny to you, but I struggle with posting a lot, because I don't just like throwing things up there. And like,
yeah.
What was the 3 things you said?
Fun, funny, or fun to look at.
See, and it was 3 E's that I used to write down, and it was like entertain, empower, and I forget what the 3rd one is now. But
oh, that's cool. I like that better, actually.
I'll have to go find what it was, but to engage people, not just for them to know your life, but for them to know how you think as well. And I kind of look at it like a journal, essentially. Like, I write what I think about. So,
but I think that actually, at first when you said that you struggle, I made the ugliest face ever. I was like, but actually it totally makes sense to me now, because if you didn't, I know people who don't struggle with posting, and they throw anything and everything up there and kind of see what's thinking about it. So it actually does make sense to me that you do think about it and you struggle with what to post because you want it to be valuable.
Well, and there is days where, like, in the morning, if I don't feel inspired and I don't feel something, I don't share anything at all, because I would rather not put something up than just throw something garbage of a picture of whatever.
Exactly.
And have it look, I would rather just leave that gap open and wait to put something up that I feel is of value. So I'm glad that you brought that up. The next question that I had was, what's a struggle that you've had, and how have you overcome it?
I have had a ton of struggles, of course, just like we all have. We're all human. And honestly, this isn't easy, because if they're just be like a 25-star millionaire coach. So everyone for sure struggles. And I think that's the main reason why people quit, of course, because it's tough and it is a struggle. And there are beach body highs and beach body lows for sure. My biggest struggle was definitely rejection. Like I said, I so hate when people hate me. I'm way too sensitive. There's not enough personal development in the world to change that on me. I'm always going to be a little bit insecure about all those like haters going to hate posts. I'm like, oh, haters. Well, like, I really don't like it. So objections scare me because I kind of would take it personally. I have learned so much to detach myself from the outcome, and I know that it's not about me. So that definitely helped me. Tommy Migrant's video, he did it, I forget who else he did it with, on objections. He did it at Summit last year, and it's on YouTube, and it's also on podcasts. I don't know if you guys use podcasts for the wake up call. It's so awesome, but they have all the Summit ones from last year, and it says, instead of NWUC, it says Summit, and his podcast is on there on objections, and it's just incredible. And it's about like objections being prevented or provoked, and you really need to get into the emotional part of their brain. And it taught me kind of how to not like get as many objections, because I found that I was just going too fast. Somebody was like, oh, I'm interested in Shakeology, and I'd be like, oh, awesome. I'm like, cool, here's the link or something, just too fast. So I learned how to do that through that video. So that was definitely something that helped me. And I didn't want to be like a salesperson. Like I said, I was so scared of that. I don't know who like the dirty car salesman was, because they're not all like that, but it's definitely what gave that name a bad name. But my friend Katie, I decided, this is when I was brand new, I decided that she wasn't going to do this. She was busy. She has a lot of money and she's super in shape. And I was like, she's not going to do this. And I was talking to her and I was like, I just feel, she's like, how's that business going? Whatever. I'm like, I feel so great. Like, I love the Shakeology. I'm like, business, not so much, but like, I feel good. So that's a really cool part of it. I'm sleeping better and I've lost weight and da-da-da. And I started telling her and she was like, all right, sold. And I was like, oh my God, like, no, I did not sell you something, Katie. Like, I don't sell things. I'm just like, this is my business. Da, da, da. Like, don't tell, that's insulting. I didn't sell you anything. And she's in marketing and sales. So she's like, Erin, that's what sales is. Like, you just shared your story with me. You told me why you love it and why you feel good. I want to feel good too. So yeah, like, sign me up. And that was so eye-opening for me because I felt like I didn't understand what the word sales was. And it was just so scary to me. So hearing her say that helped. I don't even know if she knows how much that helped me, but it changed my mindset. Like, I'm not selling people. I'm literally sharing. So that was, I now focus on like just trying to share it like you share a movie. I was definitely like, I struggled with verbal diarrhea when I started so bad. I was sending messages that were like a book. And I learned not to do that. I learned to breadcrumb my messages. So my messages now are like 5, 6 sentences, especially with a question. And I just talk about sharing this. Like, when you share a movie, you share like, oh, the movie was so great because it made me feel this, and this person was so funny, and I just love the movie or whatever. You don't sit there and say like, oh, it was filmed in 1952 and there were 32 actors in it. It was 1 hour and 52 minutes and the screenshot, like, you don't go there. And saying Shakeology has spironella and astragalus, people are going to be like, okay. So I try to like remind myself that it's like sharing a movie. And if you wouldn't say that, like, detail about it, that's what we have third-party tools for. So she helped me. And one of my like absolute biggest struggles, and my questions are so long, but one of my biggest struggles was people telling me, people on my team, when I'd say, oh, we have a call tonight, like, are you gonna be on the call? And they'd be like, I don't know, like, I have to put my family first, so I'm not really sure, like, my son might be up or whatever, my husband, I'm not sure, like, what he's doing. And I took that so personally. I was actually kind of devastated over that because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I don't put my family first then because I don't miss a call. I'm on every Zoom call because that's my work. And what I realized was I'm doing this for my family. My family just went to Mexico for free. My family has been able to do so much financially because of this business. I'm a better mother because of this business. I am much more confident. I would never have been able to speak on a call like this. I honestly thought I was gonna vom. What is this? Puke? No. What's like the like polite way? Oh, get sick. Sorry, I thought I was gonna like get sick being on a video call. So I've changed as a person too. Like, obviously it's personal development. And I know, like, all those things, I'm different. And so much of this is for my family. And I also know, I'll quicken it up. I also know that I don't know. I love this for my family. I don't have to do hairdressing like on Saturdays when people are missing their kids' soccer games. I don't have to be an overnight nurse, or this is my job. Yes, I do a Zoom call on Monday and Wednesday at 9, and I look at it differently now. So that was a huge struggle for me. Sorry, I'm going on and on and on.
I'll ask you 2 more quick questions, and then part of your story you didn't get to, I want you to share where you are now.
Okay.
At your 2 years into the business. So, what's the best piece of advice that you would give to a new coach?
My thing, I just started reading Entrepreneur Roller Coaster. I don't know if you guys are reading that, but the best advice I learned just from this, like yesterday, I think, is he said, like, you have to love what you do, because the people who love this are going to stay on. So they're going to stay here. They're going to be awesome at this, and they're going to continue. If you love this, like, find your passion in it. Maybe it's challenges. Maybe it's Coach Basics. Maybe it's making a YouTube. or this business has so many parts to it that you don't have to just like do what the norm is. Find a part that you love the crap out of and just do that part. Another piece of advice, huge for me, that changed my business was studying the color code. It's colorcode.com. I do that for my first day of Coach Basics because I love to find out what color people are. I don't know how familiar you guys are with that. It's a free assessment on colorcode.com if you put in the promo code Beachbodycoach. And once I learned that, I was guest speaking on Dave Ward's call, and I was saying, oh, I love the color code, and he said, that's so crazy because it's so true. If you don't understand other people's personalities, then you can only talk to the people who speak your language. And I have I'm very blue. I'm like emotional, sensitive, and reds are very like strong-willed and organized and like to the point, and it's very different from who I am. And I struggled with kind of getting through to those coaches, and I didn't know how to help them because I didn't understand. Studying the color code was huge for my business because I started understanding where people were at and like what their core motive is. And advice would be to definitely set goals. I had never set a goal for myself ever, but writing down my goals made everything completely different. And my last advice would be to change your mindset, because when you go to sign somebody up, I remember somebody saying like, oh, well, what about when they sign up? Do you say thank you? And I'm like, no, like they say thank you to me. That's how this works. Like I'm helping them. Like, like, yes, you're going to get a commission. You're going to get 2 Success Club points. Absolutely. Fine. But what you're doing for their life is so much more. Like they'll be thanking you because their whole life's going to change because of something you just offered. And if you change your mindset, and it's a hard mindset to change because when you go to talk to people about something, you do kind of feel like, all right, I hope they buy, But change your mindset is to like, I hope this changes their life. I hope this is so cool. And it will also like come across like this is your business. And if you treat this like a business, it's going to pay you as a business. And we're literally in the business to help other people and to change lives. It sounds super corny, but it's so true. And it really is what it is. I have a team of people whose lives are literally changed. And had I not like put myself out there and just like gone out of my comfort zone, it wouldn't be. So focus on why this is possible for you. Because like I said, I didn't do a day of college. I have no experience. It's just like doing the right amount of personal development, 3 vital behaviors, and loving it. So that's my long-winded advice.
Well, and that, I guess, kind of covers the last one. That was, what was one thing you wished you had known about when you first started that you weren't aware of?
Yeah, it's like I said, when I started, I wasn't listening to anybody. I was literally telling people I love this business, what I wanted to let them know, and I wasn't listening. And I think I wish I knew. I thought for a long time that a goal and a plan was the same thing. So I loved making goals, and I thought goals were great. And my goal was to make Success Club 10 every month. But because I didn't have a plan 2 days before the month was over, I'm like, crap, I'm not anywhere near it. And I would like hustle those last 2 days because I didn't have a plan. So changing it to have an actual plan, now I lay out my month. Now I do a free clean eating group the first week of the month. And then the second week I promote, like I'll do a challenge group, and I'll make a deadline for you have to sign up by the 17th in order to be in the paid challenge group. If you don't want to be in that, that's okay. I'll have another free eating challenge, free clean eating group, but you have to be for the real challenge group, you have to be a customer. So I didn't really plan anything out. I loved making goals, and I had a lot of goals, and I somehow winged it and flew by the seat of my pants. But with a plan and with writing out the action steps, that made everything different for me. And do you want me to where I am now in the business?
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly say to that about having a plan. I always ask, are your actions meeting your intentions of what you need to do to hit your goals? Because I was the same way. I would set goals, but I would have no game plan of how to achieve them. And that's so important. You can set them, but unless you know how to get there, they're never going to happen. So
yeah,
that's a great one. But yes, if you can share where you are now.
Hi, Declan. I love it. Where I am now, I'll be 2 years in October. I am currently a 7-star. I'm 8-star qualifying for, again. I did make a lead. I'm hoping to make a lead again. And financially, life is pretty crazy. I make about 4 times as much money as I did at my old job, which is still insane. I'm just like a completely different person. My entire life has changed, and I'm not going to say, oh, it's so easy, you guys can do this. It's not easy. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's awesome. Sometimes it's the best thing in the world. But you're going to have people where you're like, oh my gosh, like you would be so happy if you lost 50 pounds, and you like in your own head. I'm not saying that you're saying this to somebody, but like thinking like, oh, I know they have weight to lose. I know they'd feel so much better. They're like the kindest, sweetest person. And I just would love to see you do this. And they're going to be like, no, I'm good. And it's going to break your heart for sure. Cause you're gonna be like, no, like your whole life could change. And to not be able to get through to somebody like that. I mean, certainly don't give up on them. But it's heartbreaking. And this business is hard like that because it really is so sad. And you feel like you start to second guess yourself. Like, why can't I get through to that person? They could be so helped. But not everybody's there and not everybody's ready. So I don't know. It's the best business in the world. I'm the happiest person. And it's very different than my life before this, clearly. Did I answer all that question? Is that what you wanted to know?
Yes. I just wanted them to get a feel of what you've accomplished within 2 years. So it kind of gives them an idea of what they can do with it.
I know, that's a funny question. I feel like I'm bragging, like, yeah, those are like my Beachbody stats. So I did make Success Club 10 up until this summer. In June, I started to build my husband more for financial reasons. So I dropped to Success Club 5. So for June, July, and August, I just made 6 and built his account. But I feel like when you focus on Success Club 10, it builds your business faster. And it's all a mindset. When I set it for 5 this summer, I was like, 5 and good. Do you know what I mean? And when it was 10, I had to hit it. So you literally can do whatever 5 is not hard. It's all in how much you want to put your mindset there.
10 is not hard either. It's just a little bit more of a shift in mindset and getting that going in the beginning of the month, because that's been my goal since day one. So yeah, absolutely. If you believe it, you can make it happen. I truly agree. So we're going to get cut off, but thank you so much, Erin. And I'm sorry we didn't have time for questions, but if you guys have questions for Erin, if you just want to post them in the team page underneath the call link, I'll make sure to shoot them over to her so she can answer them for you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for having me on. And thank you guys for making your call late. I know it was later than you normally do, and I really appreciate you staying up late for me. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Erin.
Bye, guys. And congrats again, Heather.
Have a good night, guys.
Night.